Still broadcasting from the Civic Cypher Studios, this is the QR Code, where we share perspective, seek understanding, and shape outcomes. The man you are about to hear from is a man who is always, I promise, he is always giving me fantastic advice that I never take. He is the Q in the QR Code. He goes by the name of Q Ward.
And the voice you just heard, you know, it's hard to feel like your advice is fantastic.
It is.
If
It's
your
always
brother
great.
just won't listen to it. Like,
I'm learning.
Fantastic. See, this is what I mean. I always tell our listeners, Ramses be lying to y'all, especially about me. But he is the R in the QR code, and he does go by the name Ramses Ja.
And we need you to stick around. Not too much to tease here. We're going to be sharing our thoughts, 3 pieces of advice that, you know, we think that would be useful in relationships. So we're going to stretch our legs for this one because we were having fun in our pre-production meeting. Q, you want to go first? You sure you got a lot to offer?
There's this thing that happens, y'all. When Ramses is really, really hyped about a topic, he'll go first. He won't even ask. We'll have a certain amount of time to talk about it. Ramses will talk almost all of that time. And then with like 11 seconds left, Q, what you got for the people?
I'm sorry.
I'll be looking at the camera and the microphone like, man, I guess open the doors of the church.
Sorry.
Hit the organ and pass the offering plate. Like, I don't know. And then something like this is like, yeah, we're going to do this. And how about Q? And I'm like, oh, okay. You're going to toss it to me first. How about it? So relationships. I think when most people hear that word, their minds automatically go to romantic relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And ignore every other type of relationship that exists. I remember reading this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I remember a lot of people being very captivated by it. I think the author's name was Dale Carnegie, New York Times bestseller, very, very popular book, you know, and the title in and of itself gave me some pause. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Somebody wrote a book about how to do that. And what you realize from reading that book, Ramses, like the main idea of the book, when you break it all down and you pour it through 10 filters and you sift it and pour it out again, then boil it and then take what boiled and scrape that off and put it under a microscope, is you have to actually care about people.
Mm.
Like, that's the trick. Winning friends and influencing people and all these tactics and skills and shortcuts that you think exist. Actually care is step 1. Actually cultivate the relationship because you care about the relationship, not because there's something that person can do for you, not because there's something that you're looking to extract from them. Just actually care. I'd even propose the opposite. Show up and figure out how you can be of service, professionally, romantically, and platonically. Realizing that this isn't a game that you play where you try to get the better of the other party, because there's so many handbooks and playbooks to do that. How to think like a man but be a woman on the side, or how to trick people but still come out on top. And there's just all these guides on how to better play these games where the entire point is some form of manipulation. And I think it's because, and I hate to gender this, but women are far more emotionally, mentally, and intellectually resilient than we are. Mm-hmm. Right? When my first son was born, wow, that was an incredible, incredible day.
I remember, yeah.
But that pregnancy and that delivery were terrifying. His mother was sick the entire pregnancy, and her and the baby got so sick when we were in the delivery room that they had a cold, whatever. All these alarms went off, and we were being rushed into surgery for an emergency C-section because he was choking, and the both of their vitals weren't stable. It was a chance they would both not make it. And as the dad, you're standing there hopeless and you can't do anything but pray and hope it works out. And you're just standing there and you're watching, and it's the most miserable feeling. And I'm like, I don't ever want to do this again. My baby got here finally. He's healthy. I'm holding him. Okay, that's it. I'm done. That sucked. He's here. He's healthy. We spent 13 days in the hospital after he was born.
Mm.
And I tell you, Ramses, on day 15, she started talking about when we're going to have another one. Because her mind pushed all the negative out, all the pain, all the hurt, all the hardship, all the sick, all the fear. And she just remembered the joy and the love and the skin to skin contact and the connection, and how this thing now existed that she loved more than anything ever. And I, as a man, remembered the hurt and the pain and the fear and the stress, and I wanted to do it again. And I think that translates into our other relationships, right? The first time you fall in love, how old are you, Rams? 11, 12?
Something like that, yeah.
When the opposite sex stops having the cooties, and you realize that they're cute, and you flirt nice instead of mean, because you flirt mean when you're little because you don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
So you start flirting nice, and you do a Valentine's Day card that you cut with scissors and put a candy on it with tape.
You're waiting for your shot.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And you're a kid. And eventually that girl who's your age matures a little faster than you. She stops being in the cartoons a little earlier than you. She stops playing with toys a little sooner than you. What happens to her biologically happens faster than it does for you. So then she starts looking at the older guys, and the cute little kid with the glasses and the bad haircut that gave her the Valentine isn't really her speed anymore. She wants the older, cooler kid who dresses in name brand clothes. And she didn't mean to break your heart. She's just a kid moving on to something she likes better, but your heart is broken. So now you play this game moving forward where you're just avoiding heartbreak. You're trying to avoid being made a fool of. You're trying to avoid putting yourself out there to be exposed and be essentially like destroyed.
Yeah.
And nobody takes it serious because you're 12 and you don't know what love is. And boy, you don't know what you're talking about, except you're 12. That's your whole life that you've lived. So to that point, you absolutely know. To that point, you absolutely knew that that was love for you then. Now, your 12-year-old love looks different at 40. But at 12, that was it.
Yeah.
So now you're navigating life trying to not feel that way again. Meanwhile, the young lady, when she finally reaches heartbreak because that older guy starts to be into girls more his age or girls younger than her. Maybe that's the difference. And her heart is broken. But what she remembers is the Valentine's card you gave her. And the first date the new guy took her on, and how good she felt when you told her she was pretty, and how good she felt when she held his hand. Like the minds are just programmed different. So that's where this industry came from. These books to teach us how to manipulate and play the game, because nobody wants to be played. Nobody wants to be made a fool of.
Yeah.
I don't have 3 pieces of advice for a relationship. I just have like 9,000 hours of conversation and experience of catastrophic failure, of life-shattering heartbreak, of I'll never get this right, and this isn't just love. Rams and I have made career decisions where we spent thousands of dollars and nothing came of it, where we spent hours putting into a project, writing and editing and producing, and it didn't turn out. Traveling across the country, putting together PowerPoint presentations, going to meetings and dinners and lunches and being promised all these things, and they fall apart. And it's an interesting thing because this dynamic that we have with 6 sisters, I'm an emotional sensitive, vulnerable man. It's the thing I like the least about myself. Ironically, it's the thing the mother of my children liked the most, so much that she prayed every day when she was sick and pregnant that my son would turn out like his dad, specifically his heart. And my God was that prayer
Yeah,
answered.
he
And
is
my
just like you.
God was I angry because the world is not a kind place to an exposed, vulnerable, sensitive, emotional young man. So yeah, she appreciates that now, but I remember what it was like when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, when I was trying to figure the world out and when the world wasn't being so kind to me. So it's just, we're figuring all of this out in real time still.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's no you don't get the degree in relationships and then win and now you have all the answers. So like these relationship gurus that I see, I always laugh at them. Especially the ones that are single. It's like, dude, you're the relationship
Yeah.
master. Like you scrutinize and criticize and put everybody else's relationships and the way they do things under a microscope. There's no one size fits all. There's no way. My singular advice, if I only had one piece and it was going to be the most important, is what I started with. Just actually care and actually try to do what you say. Because you'll have all these things you intend to do professionally, romantically, and platonically. They don't always work out. A friend of mine once told me, and this was seemingly the most hyperbolic promise a person could ever make a friend, because the world just doesn't work this way. It's like, why even say something like that? The world won't let you keep that promise. But a friend of mine once said to me as I was trying something that I was terrified of, that I didn't think I was good at, and that I didn't want to try. He said, just trust me and try it. Trust me and try it, and I promise I won't let you fail. That friend's name was Ramses Ja,
Yeah.
and that was the first time I touched a set of turntables, and those turntables took me all over the world in front of tens and hundreds of thousands of people playing music to strangers. So just be kind, just care, and try to mean what you say. Try to, but to the furthest extreme though, not to the end of your convenience. To the furthest extreme, try to mean what you say and actually care and try to be kind.
I think that sounds like three pieces of advice. I'd go with that. I love that. That's so eloquent, man. You're so poetic. Um, I have a few rules that I've come to use for myself that I think that I could share. Three pieces of advice. Um, it's less eloquent than yours, but I'll share them because that's what I have. Uh, Take walks, feed each other, and apologize correctly. Okay, so I'll make those live.
Please expound on those.
Yeah, I'll make them live. Okay, take walks. It's just something that I learned. It works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. So, and this is not just romantic relationships. This is like I take walks with my son. Q and I, we take walks even when we're not trying to. We go so many places together. We're always walking, and talking for some length of time means that the scenery changes, meaning that the conversation changes. It continually flows, and it flows at the speed that humans are accustomed to processing information, right? And sharing information. Taking walks is such a therapeutic thing that if you're intentional about taking walks, you can air out grievances, you can process anger, you can lean into happy moments, all of those things. I used to take walks with my little boy, both my little boys, and all they would do was just ask me all their little boy questions. How come some monkeys didn't turn into people? Or how does everyone know all the rules in the city? Just questions that a little kid would ask. And it strengthens the relationships and it gives you deeper insight and continual insight into this human being as they evolve. And you're able to capitalize on the happy moments, be better with the tougher moments, and grow together at the pace of a human being, right? Walking pace. Okay. Feed each other. One rule in my house. I've had many people live in my house over the years. One or two rules. Rule number one, don't bring anyone to my house. I don't want anybody coming to my house. But rule number two, and this is a more important rule, if there's food in the refrigerator, the food is for everybody. If you need food for yourself, take it in your room, right? But I don't want anybody to come, because anybody that's lived in my house has never paid me to live here, anything like that. It's just that this is the place where we all are going to be taking care of each other. So there's no rent, there's no bills. Don't worry about that. I got it. And if you're worried about food, the food in the refrigerator belongs to everybody. If you're hungry, eat. If you're hungry, eat. If I'm in a relationship, if I have my sons, whatever, are you hungry, baby? Q, you know this full well. Q, I'm going to go get something to eat. Do you want anything? You do the same thing with me, right? Feed each other. There's some intentionality. Even if you're angry with somebody, if you ask them if they want to eat, it's the base level, showing them that you still care about them, you still love them. I could be so mad at you and be like, look, I'm going to get something to eat. You hungry? And that's not a cop out. That's not saying you're right or they're wrong or whatever, but it does keep you connected on some level, and it does show some concern. It's an effective strategy for me. I hope it's an effective strategy for you. No matter how mad you get, no matter how lost you get on your journey with whoever this person is that you have in mind for your relationship, feed them. Make sure that you check on them. Make sure that they ate. It's very simple. It's very easy to remember. Apologize correctly. This is the last one. If someone says that you did something wrong to them, you kind of have to, if someone says that you hurt them, you don't get to say that you didn't hurt them. Like, you have to just kind of take that. Okay. And sure, state your piece, state your brief, do whatever, defend yourself, all those things. But what Q's point, I think, is well made. If you really do care about somebody, you're concerned about their feelings more than you are concerned about being right. So if it's a matter of feelings, then this is easier to get to. If it's a matter of being right, maybe you have to work through a couple of things. But once they tell you what you did, you repeat it back to them. Here's what I did wrong. Once they tell you how it made you feel, repeat it back to them. So now it's, here's what I did wrong. Here's how it made you feel. And then once they tell you what they would like you to do instead, then you repeat it back to them. So your apology, in effect, becomes, here's what I did wrong. Here's how it made you feel. Here's what I'm going to do in the future. And I summarize that. I saw it in a movie, but I say it quite often, and I do mean it every single time. I'll say, you know what? You deserve better. I'll be better. It's just that simple. There's so many people in my life that have heard me say, you deserve better. I'll be better. What else can you say? The fight ends there, and I do intend to be better. Hope that helps.